What's good, YouTube? I've always wanted to do that. So, funny story, this is the third time I've tried to record this video. Last night, I was going to edit the video and then realized I filmed the video vertically, which shows one of two things. Either I'm not making these videos enough, which I'm not, or that I am technically special. Anyways, we're gonna get this one. The second time, I was recording in my truck like I am now, and my phone was connected to my Bluetooth, and so I went to play the video back, and there was no sound. It's been a while since I posted. A lot has happened between, the 2023 update, which was the last video, and now, the business has grown. We've obviously bought Firehouse, gone through, a couple seasons now with that. It's gone really well, I would say. Things are set up a little bit differently now. One, just because of the growth, and also two, just because some things have happened, in the business and also personally. If you live in my community or, are close to me, are friends with me on Facebook, you know that I recently had a stroke almost 2 months ago to the day. So I'm going to get into like a story time on that because a lot of people are curious, they know I had a stroke, but like what happened? What were my symptoms? What was it like? So I'm going to get into that and then kind of an update on the business. So to get into the stroke and what happened, it was December 15th. It was a Sunday. We were taking our two kids to the Texans game. My daughter, she's 9. My son, he's 6. It was Kids Day, so that was the theme of the Texans game that day. So they were very excited about it. And I woke up and I noticed in my vision in my left eye, I had this, I would describe it as like a shimmering glare. I thought it was weird. I didn't really make anything of it. It was only in one eye, and it was only like in my peripheral, in my left eye. So I'm thinking it's an optic nerve thing. It's, a localized, issue to my eye. I did think was weird. I've had, great vision my whole life. I don't, have to wear contacts or glasses. But I didn't know what was going on. I just turned 30, so that's when all your check engine lights start to come on. So that's happening. And then before we leave the house to head to the game that morning, I lost my left peripheral. So like where the visual disturbance was happening in my left eye, my vision went out. But then it came back. It only lasted like a minute, but it weirded me out. Then I start to feel super nauseous, horrible. But I didn't want to be the one to ruin the kids' day. And so we headed down to NRG Stadium, which is about an hour away from where we live. And we got there at 9 a.m. The game started at noon. There's kids' activities set up outside. So our kids were doing all that. And I'm kind of standing back. I'm feeling worse and worse and worse. And I'm like, man, I need to get it together, And so I told Anna, my wife, I'm like, hey, I'll be right back. I'm going to run to the bathroom, like hoping to go to the restroom, like pep talk, get it together, go about the day. And all the while, like my vision was still doing this weird stuff, which by the way, like in hindsight, I should have been alarmed. My bells and whistles should have been going off, right? And, if you're watching this and you're like a medical professional, you're probably cringing, but I'm 30, and I didn't know what was going on. My point in saying my age is that, I'm a young, relatively healthy person. So a stroke was one of the last things on my mind. I thought I was having a visual thing. I thought, oh man, maybe I'm getting COVID or something weird. And to those wondering too, I didn't get the COVID vaccine, so it's not that. But I have had COVID before. Anyways, I'm feeling worse and worse. We go into the stadium, go to our seat, And 15 minutes before kickoff, which was 11:45, I told Anna, we need to go. I was cognitively getting worse. I didn't necessarily present, my symptoms didn't present as like a classic stroke symptoms. Like I didn't have one-sided weakness, right? Like a droopy side of my face. Physically, I was fine. I didn't have any deficits, in that regard. But I was feeling out of it. I felt kind of like I was in a dream. It was very strange. I felt a little confused, and I just knew, something was up. It was time to go to the hospital. So of course we're in Houston and we have like, the best medical center ever, right? Well, at this point I'm still thinking like it's probably nothing crazy. We head back to the Woodlands area, and because I want to go to the Methodist here in the Woodlands, which is an hour, 45 minutes away. So we head back, and I'm feeling worse, and I'm not, as we're driving down the freeway back home or to the hospital, I'm not recognizing exactly where we're at. I'm feeling bad, okay? So get to the hospital, tell them what's going on. The triage nurse, which I totally understand, most of the time when someone like me comes in, young, 30 years old, weird symptoms, right? Someone's anxious or they're on drugs or whatever, okay? So the triage nurse is like, look, you seem anxious, like whatever, and which I was, but I was, anxious about the way that I felt, because I knew something was wrong. So I kept telling her, something's wrong. Like, I'm telling you something's wrong. I've never felt like this before in my life. You're gonna figure out something's wrong. And so, sure enough, they do the CT. They, saw that I had blood on my brain. Luckily, it had stopped bleeding. So the type of stroke I had was called a hemorrhagic stroke. So my brain just started bleeding. Hemorrhagic strokes make up like 10 to 15% of all strokes, so it's a little more uncommon, especially when they don't really know what caused it, and I'm so young. I don't have high blood pressure. They were asking me, if I had taken a fall, which I didn't. Why was my brain, bleeding? At the time, we didn't know. They had theories. They said they were gonna, put me in ICU. They ended up putting me in intermediate care. So once they got me up to my room, I had to do an MRI so they could see the brain better. They did an angiogram, which is where they put you to sleep. They go through one of your arteries in your leg, up to your brain, and they could see the blood vessels better because they thought it was something called a malformation. But once they did the angiogram, they said, no, we don't see a malformation. So at that point, I'm questioning, like, what is it? And they gave me the potential options or outcomes of what it could be, which were, unsettling. I mean, one of them was a tumor. So no one wants a brain tumor, but at that point, I just stuck it out. I sat in the hospital for 3 days. They told me that in 6 to 8 weeks, once the blood moves off of my brain, that they could see what's underneath it. And so that happened a week ago. It was 7 weeks, and I got the MRI, and they didn't see anything at all. So on one hand, I'm like super grateful, but then on the other hand, like, they can't tell me why it happened. So moving forward, I have no idea what to or not to do for this to happen again. But either way, definitely I don't want any of this to come off as like a woe is me. I am super blessed. I'm super lucky. I actually have guilt. I joined a lot of these stroke support group pages on Facebook, and like, I mean, you know, seeing some of these people, man, it's like makes me realize how lucky I am. Like, I mean, my vision's restored, my mental state, like I feel, you know, normal again. So I'm super lucky, you know, as of right now. I mean, I have like a 1 in 4 chance of it happening again. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And I'm super grateful. I'm super lucky. And, you know, one thing I've definitely realized from all of this is like life is fragile, man. And it's so short. And it's crazy to me how scared people are to do things in their lives. Like, man, who cares? Like, who cares what people say? Who cares what people think? Like, I was, you know, when I started doing this YouTube stuff, man, like I couldn't even hardly get through editing the videos because I hate hearing the sound of my own voice, you know, and seeing myself, and I feel, you know, it's cringy and, you know, whatever. But I would say that, you know, going through this stroke stuff's definitely made me like have a different perspective, a different outlook. And it's, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's like super cliche, but I mean, it's also very true. So, you know, I'm a believer in, you know, everything happens for a reason. And, you know, that happened and I could already see purpose in it. You know, I'm a glass half full type of person. So that's the stroke stuff. Regarding the business, which is what this is all about, is, you know, like I mentioned, some things have changed, all for the better. Obviously, you know, merging with another company that we bought, I mean, things are going to change. Like, we get busier, we have more workflow. The Christmas lights, you know, got busier as well. So we have myself and Anna who are doing, you know, the sales, if you will, you know, all the estimates. Anna does full-time networking. I mean, she does it 4 or 5 days a week. And we have the truck with the trailer with 2 guys. And then we have, well, actually with 3 guys. And then we have my dad now, who's able to step back, and he's more now in like a supervisor type role, which is great. It works out great for everyone because obviously he's been doing this for, you know, over 20 years. And so he's got the knowledge. So he's there to support the guys and kind of oversee the job, but he doesn't have to be as hands-on anymore, which is perfect for him. Like, he's a fireman, you know, for his full-time job. So he works 48-hour shifts. He gets off at the fire station and then, you know, does the pressure washing. So now that he's more in that supervisor role, you know, it's not as taxing on his body. So I'm happy to do that. I think everyone's pretty happy, you know, with the way things are set up. So now I'm able to, you know, do the estimates. I have more time to do things like this, you know, make these videos, create content. My dad's happier doing what he's doing, and the guys are happy that he's there to support them. They have questions, you know, whatever. Anna's networking, like I mentioned. We have our 2 Christmas light installers as well. So now with myself and Anna included, I think we have 8 people, which is awesome. So spring has seemed to start a little early this year. At the beginning of February, it was like 80 something degrees. Like I said, today's Valentine's Day and it's back down in like the low 50s, but I think that those warmer temperatures really kind of triggered the spring rush a little bit early. So I mean, we're booked through February depending on job size, and super happy with where we're at. Hoping that I could make more of these videos. I enjoy doing it. I know we only have 60 subscribers right now, you know, small little group, but this is something I enjoy and I have time to do now. So hopefully I could stay consistent with it. We'll see where it goes. Thanks.